Hello everyone and welcome back to Krastorio 2. This is Otaku Showboat. If you have been enjoying this series thus far, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff below the video. You can, of course, support me on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushowboat if you are so inclined and able. Last time we met, we got through the production of rare metals as well as got into a bit of our blue circuits, our processing units. So today it is time to begin to move on to the production of steel and low-density structures and rocket fuel on the way into utility tech cards. So, steel on the network is the key thing here. That is going to require a fair amount of stuffs. It means that I need to set up wood and bring in coal and have a smelting array that accepts those things to make coke. I am curious about coke in what it is used for outside of steel, and the answer is absolutely jack all that I will be actually doing. That does mean that we are free. We are free to develop this next production line. And the obvious general question is, where will it live? Where will this steel live? Well, let's continue making as best use of as possible of the amount of space that I have available to me, and put down another thingy right in here. That's where I will place that. Beautiful steel. Glorious steel. Magnificent, even. And, of course, at the end of the last video, when I got my processing units, I did not add the sourcing priority, so let's make sure that I do that. These are blue circuits, as named. So, let's hope that I have enough stuffs for the building of all of this. I think I'm okay for the most part on all of this. The bots are doing the thing. Very happy about my bots being able to do the thing. The great thing about going into utility tech cards, by the way, is that I will get access to the next level of speed on my robots, which is very, very important. The next cargo capacity upgrade isn't until, well, it's at production science, whereas the speed is utility. Very much have a need for speed. Lots of, huge desire for speed. And what I'm going to do, I haven't actually done this yet, is have a dedicated deconstruction planner for this stuff. All the trees and things that are in my way, so that the robots can help me with clearing space. Must have clean space around my various things. And I'm still suffering a little bit from my allergies today, so do bear with me over this 30 to 40 minutes or so as I continue right along with our wonderful stuffs. Yes, clean the trees away from my tracks. Do not want trees in my tracks. Especially don't want a tree, like, right there in the middle of things. That's a little bit much. Alright. I want... Excuse me, what was that sound? Was that my nose making a noise? I don't know. Or was that a scratch of something? Anyway, I heard this high-pitched squeal. Like, what? What? I need to figure out how much steel I want out of this. Let's take a little peek at the everything that is listed in here. Where is steel? Did I end up breaking down steel? I think I did. Sadly. That's unfortunate. So, anything that uses LDS, not you, oddly enough. I think it's actually just utility, now that I'm thinking about it, that uses low density structures. 120 for wow, okay. Huh. So I guess the answer is as much as possible on that steel side of things. So let's see. You, in the end, are going to be making steel. If I want all of the steel, let's say this would be what I want out of this. I would need definitely 48 electric furnaces plus the 6 per second of the coke, which would mean 8 more, 6 each of wood and coal per unit of this. Alright, this line is going to exist over here and down here. I'm actually going to grab this from the rare metals, rotate it, and place it like so, and just change the recipe over to steel. It does need a little bit more editing, though, because I need to not only throw at this the full red belt of iron, but the coke, too, so I have to make sure that I double up the lines and add in the doohickeys. The doest of hickeys. The red inserters, the long-handed inserters. I think that's how the recipe's changed. So I need to do something along those lines. Since I'm going to copy that and... Excuse me, what? I'm going to grab that and do that copy down this line. And then I have to do something different down this line because that. There we go. That will suffice. There. Good. Good. We did it. We did the thing. And then it's like 8. I saw. Let's try to keep things aligned. Something like 8, yeah. 8 making stuff from things. Fine. Just do that. Be okay. Why is it always reversed? So there's this really weird behavior sometimes when I place these and then go back to the regular belt where it ends up being downwards, not like in the direction that I was building. So if I do this, that, like I expect the belt to always be the same. But sometimes I go... It might have to do with using the eyedropper tool? I don't know. But what I do know is it's freaking annoying. Every time that happens, it's annoying. So that's going to be that. This is going to be supplying steel. The first. This is going to be our coal at steel 1. And our iron at steel 1. This is going to actually be outputting above. Right there. That's the iron. And the coal is gonna come out. Oh. There you go. Coal's gonna come out, meet up with the doohickeys. Get my vehicle out of the way. Meet up with the wood and go over here. Let's add the... Whoops. There we go. You need some power. There you go. And then I need the whatever 6 per second worth of wood. But yeah, I'm okay with a little bit more than that. I think that's sufficient. Six per second would be 9. That's a little bit more than 9. I think it's 6. Yeah, 6. So we'll oops. We'll go with 10. Just like so. Let all that get placed. As a reminder, these share fluid. The water doesn't need to be attached through pipes on the edges. That's always one of the first things I check with my experience with the pie suite is, does fluid flow between the buildings? And sometimes it does, and it makes me very happy. Sometimes it doesn't, and it makes me quite sad, but either way, always happy to save on stuff wherever possible. I'm actually going to move this over to here. It's nice that I can just freely change stuff now that I have these bots, and I'm okay with letting them do that. Alright, that should be all of the everything defined. Let me bring in my power. And that, as they say, should be that. Just bring in coal and bring in iron. And now I have steel. Realistically, I now have steel. Or should I say, ideally, I now have steel. You. Steel should have stack size 400. This is making 15, so we'll stick with a relatively low amount of stuff. You are S steel. I did not change the names on these. D steel 1. Good, everything's waiting properly. Full cargo, circuit condition, and automatic. Auto magically. We are making the coke just fine here, and that, as they say, should be that. The steel is flowing. absolutely flowing. It is half of this red belt, by the way. So theoretically, I could, if I scaled this, merge up with another thingy here, or just use a yellow belt. But meh, I'm not that keen on keeping things nice and even. Oh, right, duh. There you go. There you go. That's necessary. I need all of the iron plates. I don't actually need this splitter either, since I'm doing that here. Very, very good. That is the steel. Stack size 400. And let's not forget to also add in the steel plate thingy. S for steel, D steel 1. There you go. Glorious sourcing priorities. That is done. So, theoretically, I should now have the things I need for low-density structures. Oh, boy. Let's see. LDS, low-density structures. Those are going to be added over here. LDS. There we go. Copper, steel, plastic. Pretty simple. I'm going to need 50. Now, I'm going to need, how much for the, thingies here? In total, 60, actually. In grand scheme, it's 1-to-1, so that's good to know, actually, that it is a 1-to-1 ratio of low-density structures to utility science in the end, by default, without modules. We are absolutely going to be using modules once I get access to the level 3 modules. Let's make that very, very clear. But the level 3 modules are also production science, which those guys, I have to go into uranium. But I could actually do that. These are very simple. These tech cards, by comparison to utility, are a lot easier to do. The biggest aspect of this is the uranium-238. My issue with the uranium-238 here is that you sort of need to do something with the very small amount of U-235 output that you... What? As I was saying, you have to do something with the small amount of U-235 that you get out of it. You also need to do something with the small amount of iron and stone that you get out of it, apparently, because that's Krastorio for you. It's added in 2 extra byproducts of uranium processing, just to say screw you. Well, we're definitely going to make good use of our crushers, but because stone... You have even more to deal with. Alright, fine. Just be that way. We're not going to be making 60. I mean, that should be pretty obvious to you that we're not going to be making 60. We could make 7.5 with the amount of steel that I'm producing, but let's save on that. I don't have... I simultaneously have the plastic and don't have the plastic because I am producing 30 plastic right now per second, but I'm using some of that already, more than 5. I am pretty sure I'm using more than 5 on that plastic for, I think it's electronic components, yeah. These doohickeys that are part of red circuits, yeah, these doohickeys, you know, I need to scale this to scale my red circuits. Oh hey, I can totally reduce the amount of wood being consumed to 0 by switching these over to electric thingies, and I can just delete all that. Good to know. I can just scale this. I've got... If if the only real limiting thing here is the plastic, and if the only real limiting thing here is just the ability to shove the quartz into the thing and the processing of the stone, it's fine. I can scale that up. We're going to need to have a few videos, I think, coming up once I get utility science of just scaling. Just scaling. That is also a shite ton of assembling machine 2s just for 5 LDS. So I think in the end we're actually going to only have 2.5 because holy god, these things are slow. Wow. Alright. Well, I have everything, it's just I need 3 solid inputs on whatever train station I do this at, so let's set that train station up. I think the next thing is going to be like, oh, I don't know, over here somewhere. Let's try to get... So I think this is going to be that uranium patch right next door, that the spot for the uranium patch. So if I look at this realistically here with one of those. And I'm going to need to grab additional rail signals because I am fresh out. I have 16 left. I need a lot more than that for this setup. I also would like to grab things. And now that I have these blue circuits, I think I've unlocked some things, like exoskeletons. I don't think I'm going to actually build exoskeletons, now that I am just thinking and paying attention to stuff. Is there... Oh, hello. Yeah. Power armor. That's very key. So I'm going to remove the stuff from this. This adds 10, so I can freely remove that and make my power armor with it. Yes. This is a lot more ideal. A lot more ideal. Now, what this will allow me to do is potentially add a second personal roboport, as well as additional generators, if I so desire. The generators will need fuel. Go ahead and take the fuel. And it needs to, like, do more power. I can put more batteries in. I can do a lot of stuff now. I could do exoskeleton, but I think the quality of life tech movement speed upgrades have been just fine for me thus far. So let's see. What can I make? I want that roboport. I want the engine units for the additional doohickey. Actually, that generator upgrade, how big is that? That's the one thing I wish it said on here, is how big these generators are. Actually, I would like the glass and solar panels for the portable solar panels / big solar panels. Yeah, it's that time. Let's go grab stuff, things, as well as those engine units. I want engine units. Those are here. Thank you for that. I'll just go ahead and build a singular portable generator to replace the 2 that I have right now. Do I want belt immunity equipment? I don't think it's 100% necessary right now. Big personal battery Mark II. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make one of those as well. See how big these things are. In terms of the spacing on the equipment grid. There's also the concept of I can put stuff on a vehicle equipment grid, but I don't know how much of this actually works in vehicles. Okay, so these do work in vehicles, but ultimately, what's the point, right? Like, oh, I can place a personal roboport in a vehicle equipment grid. Well, I think that would allow it to see the inventory of the vehicle. But while that may be the case, I would much prefer... This is not far enough. One more, buddy. One more over to get into that silicon area. Speaking of which, I mentioned wanting to swap this over to using the bigger and better doohickeys. Bigger and better electrical doohickeys. You make silicon out of quartz. It's super simple. There you go. Silicon out of quartz. 3.38 per second. How many of these do I have? 7. I can do 9 for that amount. So I think that's what I will do, actually. 8 and 9. Assuming I have the stuff here for that. 5.71, 6.75. Okay, that's not quite enough. I can do one more set. And be just fine. Just make sure that there is adequate power. Yeah, this is just a matter of how many of these guys I have and how much processing I'm doing here of the various things. You are outputting, right? Oh, right. Water. That's making this. I should have the stuff now to do... Ah, I need to grab glass as well. Hello, glass. So I want to see how big a big panel is, as well as probably make a few smalls just to have available. Alright, how big is a big portable generator? That is a 3x3. Alright, that is... So my issue with that being 3x3 is that this is 8 squares to have 2 of these smaller ones, and this is 9. I lose an extra square by having this, but it is more on its max output. I'm also... So this is a 2x2 versus the 1x1s, and this produces 192 kilowatts on its output versus 160. So that is worth having. Absolutely. This is the same size as 2, and it contains 75, which is the same as 3 personal battery Mark II. So this is always going to be better to have. That's pretty obvious to me. And you can sort of see the problem here of this particular personal generator. By it not being a better size than this, I basically lose all of these tiles to standard portable thingies, to like smaller stuffs. Ideally, what I do want to do is make another big solar panel, and then potentially fill this in with either put in another battery. I can put 2 batteries in here and then other stuff, but in the alternative, I can take that out and I can fit up to 4 of these portable generators. Like, I can put a whole nother big battery in here, as well as another, whatever, solar panel or generator, or 2 more batteries. Like, that's... I think it's a little clear now. It should be clear why that particular generator isn't that great of a thing to have. I think I am gonna have at least the 1 more battery. Big battery at Mark II. And then what else? I would need to pick up additional copper for another solar panel, so let's grab all that. Is it just the copper now? Yes, it's just the copper now. Okay. I'm going to do the extra solar panel. Screw it. Save on everything. I also now am able to get another 20 construction robots that will help to speed things along even more. And once I've picked up some of this copper to build the extra solar panel, I think I'm done. I could get like the perfect night glasses that'll make the nighttime a little bit brighter, but I'm not going to worry about that. More the smaller utility type stuff, the night vision, etc., in the Bell community, until I get into an upgraded version, the Mark II power armor. At that point, I'll think about putting in some of this more utility type stuff for the personal equipment. That will be that. For now, though, I am just waiting on handcrafting to happen for me. I am currently charging these personal roboports with stuff. The time of day is morning, so this will speed up. Now the battery is charging pretty quickly thanks to the 400 kilowatts plus the extra stuff from there. Solar panel 384. So not quite double. This is why I want the extra solar panel. Compensates for the generators, the extra solar panel, and the big battery, of course. Oh, I didn't actually use my personal batteries for that. Okay, sure. I should have a box. This box will be where those will live for now, and some of the extra stuffs I don't really need to care about for the moment. And I think with this getting crafted, all this stuff getting crafted, that'll be where we end off this video, and we will set up our low-density structures in the next episode. So this should be pretty quick to craft once these flying robot frames get crafted, just because they have a really long crafting time for some weird reason. Just I want to get here. This is the key. Then I can automate my robot production that will scale very quickly into ginormous numbers of robots. I want millions of robots. There we go. That's the speed I was looking forward to on the crafting of stuffs. A little bit slower on those solar panels, but it should be a little bit faster on those portables into the big solar panel. Just gonna wait for this crafting to go so I can be very happy with my life. There's an argument for a third personal roboport, but nah. Nah. There's also going to be a upgraded Roboport available at Utility Science that will use processing units and LDS. Let's keep that in mind, and this is going to have a robot limit of 30 on it for each of them. And I'll have access to loads of stuff at that point. There we go. So now this will charge even faster. I've got 576 on solar panel power coming in, and yeah, 150 megajoules of battery for my 40 construction bots to do their job. With that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been Otaku Showboat. If you have enjoyed today's video and the series thus far, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff below the video. You can, of course, support me on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushibut if you are so inclined and able. And I, of course, will see you all on the next one.